Hello and welcome to another edition of Fours and Sixes with me, Swaroop Swaminathan. After a short break of 4 to 5 days, it's again nice to catch up with our viewers. With me today to talk about the midway point of the season so far is Gomesh, senior cricket correspondent with the paper. Hello Gomesh, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First up, today we'll be talking about just how the IPL has progressed on expected lines and so on. First up, I think the one burning question that has to be asked is, did you expect the new sides to have done so well, and did you expect the best sides, historically speaking, to occupy the wooden spoon places?
Well, obviously, Gujarat Titans had a really good side and they are expected to do well. But the way with which Hardik has especially stepped up and performed, and obviously Miller did well, and the bowling Rashid obviously did well. But it's just, if you look at the batting, apart from the last match where Miller scored a 94, it's just Hardik and Gill, and none of the other players have really performed. So can they sustain the thing which is why it was kind of surprising to see where they are. They probably could have been in the top four.
You could say that probably, it may not have been a team effort in every match, but at least somebody or other stepped up in every match, and that's what's really helped them so far.
Tewatia in one match, and Rashid Khan been performing consistently as well. Loki Ferguson did in one match. But overall, it still has been an all-round performance from Hardik. After the kind of season he had with Mumbai, this has been a revelation of a season with the T20 World Cup in the reckoning and as well. But I expected them to be in the top four, but didn't really expect them to win 5 matches of 6 and see where they are.
And obviously now coming to the second side, RCB, Kohli has done, it's fair to say, I think next to nothing. Let's not be diplomatic. And Dinesh Karthik, of course, has sort of been the backbone of the side. Surprised by what he's done?
Not really. I mean, to be honest, he had just had bad 1.5 seasons in the IPL, before which he had a couple of really good years in this particular format, and he was not really used well in KKR in the last year and a half, where earlier he used to come at where RCB, he's batting for RCB, like come in the last 3-4 overs, try to hit every ball, time every ball to the boundary. That's essentially what he was looking good at in the last 3-4 years. And it seems like he really wants to make a point with the World Cup in the reckoning, and him being where he is at this stage in his career, this is probably like one final swan song where he's trying to make the most of it.
Where does Kohli go from here? Obviously, we saw yesterday Ravi Shastri make the comment, and Kevin Peterson also making the comment that if he's burnt out, he may be burnt out at this point. We're just speculating here, so we don't know. We're just guessing here, taking a break. Do you think he will? Do you think he should?
I really don't know, and I don't think he will. If it's in my opinion, obviously we have no expertise or no knowledge of what's going through his mind, but still, given the fact that the way he has skipped a lot of series in the last 6 months or so than he has in the last 4 or 5 years. And with the couple of World Cups around the corner, like 18 months, there is a ODI World Cup in the home, and there is a T20 World Cup, where I think he will have a crucial role to play. Although at this point in his career, it may not be his best format, but given the conditions in Australia, he'll have a crucial role to play, because not everyone in this Indian batting lineup is circumstanced to play the pace and bounce really well. It's just I don't know, he's going through a rut, but it seems like he was doing an average IPL despite the rut in international cricket, but it seems like catching up to the RCB colours as well. But we'll have to just wait and watch, I guess.
Coming to the third team in the table, Rajasthan Royals, obviously probably the guy who's been, I wouldn't say a revelation, but probably the guy who's been the form player of the IPL, Josh Butler. What more can you say of him? He's probably the best white ball player right now as it stands.
Especially in this particular format, it's funny in a way how England, not just England, like any team struggle to see that so long, that after what he had a really good 2015-16 in ODI, where he scored fastest 75 ball 100, 50 ball 100, but still teams really pushed him to the opening slot. He had a couple of years with Mumbai Indians. They didn't really make the most of him, but since then he's been really consistent with RR, and But this year it's been like a hit and miss if he fails.
He scored 4 T20 hundreds in the last year. I don't think even Chris Gayle has managed to do that.
Also, the fact that with respect to RR, the other day where he scored some 18 ball 50 or something, after which they just crumbled. Yeah. So it seems like they're relying heavily on him, and I don't know, like he scored 100. They could have lost that match. Like another couple of hits from Umesh Yadav, they really could have lost that match. I mean, that's probably sums up this format.
And it's probably helped RR that they also have the purple cap holder, Yuzvendra Chahal. Is he now like a sure shot contender for the World Cup in Australia?
He should be because of the like ground dimensions, and apart from the fact that Kuldeep also is railing really well. I think it should be between him, Ashwin and Chahal. Ashwin obviously didn't have wickets, but he has complemented Chahal really well. The wicket of Russell, what we saw, it's just one of those his special wickets. But again, I think with Kuldeep doing as well as he is, these two really, it just goes back to the same question, like how and why did he miss the T20 World Cup that happened last year. So
moving on to the wooden spoon holders, right now it is CSK and MI. We are recording this before their match on Thursday, so we don't know what has happened in that match. Just your quick thoughts on both the franchises. Obviously Mumbai, we expected them to be, I wouldn't say bad, but we expected them to be below par this year because for them the big auction purchase was obviously Jofra Archer. Rohit Sharma has probably been below par again, and in fact, to be honest, I think the younger players, the likes of Tilak Varma, likes of Deval Bravis, have really shown what they can be capable of in future years. So let's spend some time talking about Chennai Super Kings. It's fair to say that some of the auction purchases haven't really worked out. Moeen Ali is struggling for runs. Rituraj Gaikwad, another big retention for them. He's just started to find some form. They're right now in 9th place. Surprised by what's happening there?
Yeah, I mean, we have to be surprised. Like they're supposed to be having an average season, but not this bad, both of the teams. Chennai, it seemed like they were very reluctant to
experiment.
Not just experiment, like take the plunge in the auction itself. Like they bid for almost every big player that's there, like who are really doing well. But after a price limit, they didn't really go. And the players who they went for got injured. Deepak Chahar is out now. Adam Milne is out. So I guess there are the last minute captaincy change also, I think, had a role to play as well.
It was a last minute captaincy change for us, but Jadeja's come on record to say that he was informed of it months in advance.
That's true, but obviously given the fact the way CSK functions, it still seems like a
it still seems to be that somebody else is
like there is no hiding there. It still seems like a Dhoni's team, and Jadeja hasn't really established that it's his team not yet. At least with his performances and winning matches and all that, he had a couple of good next year and there.
But they're still staying true to the template that got them the title last year with the top order just going after the bowling. We have seen Robin Uthappa, we have seen Shivam Dube, one of their very few successes this year. What's really let them down so far is with CSK, you always expect wickets from spinners. Theekshana has shown it in the last few games, but something's missing, especially in their bowling attack.
I mean, they really didn't expect to. Once again, I think they picked a team for Chennai, which didn't really work for them. And to be fair, the last season they played in Chennai was 2019. Because in 2020 it was in United Arab Emirates, and although matches happened in 2021, they didn't play here. They was playing in Mumbai. So I guess it's just the same mistake that happened in 2019. It's just catching up to them. But again, Ruturaj Gaikwad supposed to have come good in the early season, but as we've seen with Venkateshwar, it's just one of those second season struggles they are having. But again, we know these two teams are really in a phase of transition. Like as you spoke about Rohit Sharma is at a stage in his career where from where he was performing in IPL and not for India, he's in a stage where he's performing well for India and not for IPL. It would be a crime to not mention Surya Kumar Yadav here. Like
he's been one of the very, very few batters who knows what he's doing right now.
And he's been one of the most consistent batters for Mumbai this year. Ishan Kishan has been hot and cold. Rohit Sharma hasn't really scored at all, and he himself has to come out and say, "I take full responsibility for what has happened this season." But then again,
they're also missing that power play wickets that Trent Bolt gave them.
Yeah, it's been a repeated argument that we've been making, but I guess they are aware of that, and just one of those seasons
probably they're just treating it as a free hit season.
Yeah. And especially we still don't know how Jofra might end up next season. Yeah. But still, it's always been the case with them. Like after every big auction, they try and figure out their combinations, and the next minor auction or whatever that trades that come up, they put it together, the better squad. These two teams are in a phase of transition, which happened to the other teams a couple of years before them. Like for example, with Sunrisers in 2018, or DC even with the last year with Shreyas injured, the Punt took over. They might take a year or two probably to figure out who their next leader is, what kind of brand of cricket they want to play. So I think this season CSK mathematically still might have a chance, but I don't see them making to the top 4 yet.
So if I were to put you on the spot and ask, who would your final top 4 be?
Given the form they have been showing, I think SRH has a really good chance if they continue to play the way they do, with Umran Malik taking wickets consistently and Kane Williamson scoring consistently. Obviously there is Gujarat Titans, there is RR and RCB. The mid-table battle will be between DC, Lucknow and... 6
teams are separated by 2 points.
Yeah, last week it was like 8 teams with 6 points. Yeah. And one of the advantages that SRH has, that they have played 6 while the teams that are above them have played 7. So it will be between SRH, DC and Lucknow, I guess, the 4th spot. But the top 3 teams, I don't think, unless something drastically go wrong, they should make to the top 4.
That's all for another edition of 4s and 6s. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay safe. Bye-bye.